Hey everybody, Pete Corner here, the most famous Las Vegas odds maker you've never heard of. And in today's segment, we're going to discuss making odds for the futures. Futures betting is one of the more popular wagers one can make that can result in a much higher payout for the bettor than just an ordinary straight bet or risky parlay or teaser. Futures betting is when odds makers put together 3 or more participants in a group, they can be individuals or teams, competing in a single event covering one day up to a season-long campaign. Bookmakers need to constantly maintain and update the odds until the event starts or a team winning the championship. Entries in the event will be prioritized by who's perceived to have the best chances of winning down to the entry with the perceived least chance of winning. Then odds makers have to put the payout price for each entry. The lowest payout price is at the top to the highest payouts at the bottom. Notice I say payout prices, and I don't refer to the entry as their chances of winning or probability of them winning. It's a very common error you even hear longtime professionals within the industry say. Yes, there's a mutual understanding that the teams at the top of the list have a perceived better chance of winning, and that's why we allocate very low payout prices. So when one of them wins, the sportsbook pays out the least amount of cash, in theory, of course. The teams at the bottom have the highest payout prices to lure speculators' money away from the favorites and on the dream chance that something may happen that could turn the entry's chances around and the bettor could score a nice profit. With this list, the ultimate goal is to get all the bettor's money spread evenly across all the entrants listed, so regardless of who wins, the payout will be less than the total amount of money taken in. As with everything we do, there's an art and science to building the list and monetizing the entries. The person doing this should have a top understanding of the list with both a current and historical knowledge of the sport, the venues, and the participants. Case in point, in golf, a weekly list should take into account which golfers play well at that particular course, and of course who's hot and who's not at the time. When Tiger Woods was toast of the town, you couldn't make his odds less appealing, and he still would attract a sizable portion of the total handle. He was at the top of the list, and then there was everybody else. In another instance, in NASCAR, there'll always be common names at the top of the list, but it'll be very different when the venue features what we call a short course, where different drivers could step into the mix and strange names suddenly appear on the big board, where the weekly favorites are suddenly dropped down. Short courses have vastly different strategies for the drivers than the larger tracks, and the odds we set will reflect that. Or maybe in baseball, there's always a ton of money on New York-based teams, the Chicago Cubs, whoever won the World Series the year before. So one has to anticipate money will be heavy on certain teams, and even if there's a perceived chance that they have no shot of winning, you still have to set numbers with low payouts to prevent a possible future disaster if one of them actually plays well. Okay, let's start. First, how many entrants are going to be on this list? Before there's any money bet, how much do we theoretically want to profit from this venture? The smaller the list, the smaller the theoretical hold percentage. Theoretical hold percentage is, if all goes well, the sportsbook will profit X amount of dollars for every $100 bet. So for a quick event calling for 3 to 5 entrants, the sportsbook will probably expect to profit between $6 and $8 for every $100 bet, meaning they'll hold all the money until the winner is decided, and when they pay out the winning wagers, they still have $6 to $8 left in their pocket. With a list of 40 entrants or more, the expectation could increase to maybe holding $30 to $50 for every $100 bet. With more entrants, the more the money will be spread around, but as in the smaller model, there's still only one winner. It's easier to pick a winner when there's 3 options than when there's 40 options. So the easier the choice is, you can be sure the least amount of winnings will be distributed out of the sportsbook. Okay, let's do a deep dive and show you the math behind how we figure out fair pricing for both the sportsbook and the gamblers. So we're going to have a race that has 5 entries. With 5 entries, we're going to set the theoretical hold at 15%. Again, when all is said and done and we pay out the ultimate winner, we strive to make $15 for every $100 bet. It doesn't always end up that way, but this is how we have to construct the model. Here's the list of competitors to start the ball rolling. It's a crude list at first, so we have to do some research and reshuffle the order after doing some fact-finding. I think this is a better sequence. So now we have to apply the odds we feel best reflect what the betting public will view as the correct order and value and stay within the confines of that 15% hold. We're going to convert the odds into a number, and the total of these 5 numbers should add up to near 115. If we wanted to hold 20%, it would add up closer to 120, and so forth. So here's what we do. If we apply the first entry with 2-to-1 odds, we simply add 2 plus 1, which equals 3, then divide that into 100, which equals 33.33. Let's say the next entry is 5-to-2, or 2.5-to-1. 2.5 plus 1 equals 3.5. 100 divided by 3.5 equals 28.57. We now have a total of 61.90. Then we fill out the rest of the card. We have to do some fudging to get this total down closer to 115, yet I still don't like the favorites odds, so here's what I'll do. We're going to lower whiskey to 3-to-2 and raise up the lower 3 to 4, 5, and 9-to-1, with the total now going to 115.24, and that's right on. That's pretty much it. However, there is one caveat. Just because your range is within fair pricing doesn't mean the odds are solid. You'll know soon enough as soon as you open up the wagering, and be prepared to move those odds if money's coming down hot and heavy on unexpected entries.